Welcome back to our Week 4 coverage of the OKLCS. We're going to be jumping into our next game from Gold Capped. It's going to be Jubermensch versus OK Gold Rush. I'll let you see that right now. In Week 1, these two teams played, and OK Gold Rush were the ones who took the victory over Jubermensch. Jubermensch actually, however, is going to be playing with with a more filled out roster, seeing as most of their members were unavailable to play.
From talking to them, you know, this is closer to what we talked about as like what they wanted to be their starting roster.
This
is
like
their usual. They wanted 4Alk in the jungle.
Yeah, 4Alk, previously a Team Landsnake player. He played jungle for them. He was doing massive work for them.
Yeah, I think usually it what they aim for would be Dat V and Jubermensch in the bot lane. Wildhawk.
IC4 is their primary support.
Oh, okay. IC4 in the bot lane with Jubermensch mid and Wildhoffmeister top. Is that it?
Yeah, something like that. They're free to move around people. Yeah. They have Martian Cthulhu, who's also one of their better players, playing mostly top lane for them.
Okay.
We are gonna see DATV.
Pretty fluid.
Yeah. Mostly pretty fluid. Their primaries are like 4 Pat, DATV in the AD carry position, Wildhoffmeister mid or top, etc. Wildhoffmeister coming off of a sort of weak Olaf performance in Week 3, but just after his insane Anivia performance in Week 2, he's gonna be back on that Anivia.
Yeah, probably looking for a repeat performance.
He is up against Good Stout Coke on the Karma, who's generally a very safe laner, but does struggle a little bit in the against champions like Anivia, like Aurelion Sol. DATV pulling out Renekton against Mr. Gingy's Darius, both very aggressive top lane bullies, and both very high sustain, both have auto attack resets. They're basically the same champion, am I right?
Very similar. One's a Juggernaut, one's a Bruiser. That's the only difference. The only difference is mobility.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, but 4Alk gonna be pulling out an Elise pick here against Cthulhu, who has pulled out this jungle Diana in the past. Not something I really like. She has a decent clear after a certain point.
I mean, this is on the patch after the Diana buff, you know? They did increase the range of her,
the vacuum thing.
The mini Orianna ult
that does no damage.
That does no damage. They buffed it by about 75 range, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually 50% over what it used to be.
Wow.
So it is a pretty significant buff.
I'm actually kind of interested. I haven't seen,
but
I haven't really played on this patch yet, and I kind of want to see what it looks like, just how big it looks.
I'm sure we'll see him use it this game.
Yeah. I'm excited to see.
Unfortunately, I don't really like Diana in the jungle. I prefer her much more. Nice apprehend into tower range, forces him to take a tower shot. He does get the good cocoon onto Good Stout Coke. He is going to be forced to flash away. The repel over the Q. He's not going to go under tower for this one.
Probably smart, level 3.
Yeah,
you know,
especially
still
considering that the tether was right on him. He might have been.
Yeah, I mean, and Karma took Ignite, which, not being defensive, he might have been able to get the kill, but to Ignite and the turret shots and just being level 3 in general, he would have gone down.
Yeah. So good not to
go too hard.
Go too hard there.
Yeah.
He gets apprehended into the tower once again. He's actually going to take 2 and go down to first blood solo kill over to Mr. Gingy onto Dat B. Oh, the flash forward from 4Alk. He's going to throw down that red buff slow, but it's not going to matter. He misses the cocoon, but he is going to be able to repel and pick up the kill.
He played that slow. He tried to really save the cocoon for when he's not...
That was actually very well played from 4Alk. When you're playing a ranged auto attack jungler, you want to hold off before using your abilities, get some auto attacks with the red buff, slow them up so that the skill shot's easier to land, save your gap closers like repel, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just
he played it smartly.
Yeah, very well played.
I was just saying that Karma dodging it just kind of got to be a mind game. You know, it's like with Jhin Ultimate. Like, sometimes you could be crazy good at Jhin, and sometimes it's just you just miss your ultimate. It's just you just guessed wrong.
So very well played. Coming out, they pick up a return kill after the solo kill in the top lane. DATV gonna pick up the longsword and the cloth armor compared to the Caulfields on the side of Mr. Gingy. Get some defensive stats to try and survive. in this lane. Active person goes wide. 4-pack gonna be pushed into tower here, but he is keeping up in CS. Jinx gonna have a rougher time in lane against Caitlyn, especially with that range advantage he has for that auto attack harass. And Nami, who in her own right is a very aggressive lane support at least. And 4-pack not really changing his auto attacks on targets correctly, misses a lot of that CS when he could have at least gotten 2 of those. He slices, actually gets hit by the Q, and he's actually doing a lot of damage onto Mr. Gingy. Mr. Gingy might go down here. He flashes forward, Shade splashes. Mr. Gingy makes it out. That's some damage coming down from that Renekton.
Yeah, wow. See, I think the Renekton into the Darius matchup might be one that might be leaned towards Renekton, but he was playing too aggressively while too close to the tower against the champion that had apprehend.
Yeah, just over-aggressive play from DATV. And there's the Cocoon onto Mr. Gingy, but I don't know if he wants this. He's in the middle of 3. DATV a little too scared to go for this fight, considering he's at half. 4 outs is going to go down to Mr. Gingy as well. 2 kills over to Darius now. He's going to have a pretty significant lead, or advantage, except he's down about 15 CS.
He is down about 15 CS. DATV been doing a good job of CSing.
And zoning him away, but a good roam from Good Stout Coke, and not being punished by Wild Hoffmeister here. He didn't even push it into the tower. Yeah, but he doesn't have that level 6, so might have been an issue of not being able to.
Yeah, the only wave clear Nivea has outside of that ultimate is the AoE little stun, and that's not something you really want to waste on a minion wave when you are worried someone else could, show up.
Well, I mean, he saw the jump
I know.
on the top side.
But he's, as we both know, he's generally a pretty cautious player. What? Wild Hoffmeister? Really pretty cautious player. I think so. It's not bad to be passive.
Okay, there's an Aqua Prison onto 4-pack, but it's not going to be followed up. I see 4 actually taking that pelt over Peacemaker to the face there. He's going very low, and Silverhammer with those ebb and flows is going to heal him up. And the Dark Dud is found here by 4 outs. He's going to go for the kill onto IC4 actually. He flashes away. He gets the flash. Exhaust goes down, and 4 outs picks up the Dark Dud. Teleport was canceled actually by DATV here. And Cthulhu is going to find 4 outs here. He's level 6 already. 4 outs is going to take a lot of damage here. He gets the Cocoon down. And there's a Howling Gale to disengage that one. DATV going very low. I don't know if he wants this. Actually, he goes for it with the Dominus. He takes the tower range. He's going to get apprehended again, take the Q, and Noxie and Giti is going to secure another kill. Mr. Gingy on a killing spree. 4 outs is going to chase with the Cocoon, and he is going to get the kill. Cthulhu going a little too hard there looking for those kills.
DATV, way ahead in CS, being a bully, but he gets too aggressive when close to the tower.
Just
it's
incredibly over aggressive.
You need Renekton's an aggressive champion.
Tempered
but you need to manage like how far you're willing to go, because that's the second time he died to taking 2 turret shots.
Just unnecessary deaths there.
Just too close a little bit to the
and as you know, we've seen this. This is just sort of a trademark from JUE as a whole. They just sometimes go over aggressive, and it costs them a lot of times.
Yeah, managing your aggression is important. There's a lot of pro players who say that whenever they're talking about giving advice to different players. They say that like it's not good to just play extremely passively, but you have to learn to manage your aggression. When you decide to go in, you have to be able to quickly decide that you're backing out. And like, don't get wrapped into it and stuck into being aggressive. Make the
he's
smart
aggressive once again. He does a lot of
that
damage.
That was more a tempered aggression kind of thing. Yeah. He gets in, he does the trade, he gets out. That's what Renekton does.
Keep this in mind though. It ended up working out for him, but that was his only form of mobility that he used when he didn't have vision in this area. He has it now, placing that ward there, but jungler coming up would have meant that he dies again. Like we say, in League of Legends, playing the game is a lot about you go for the plays that you know you can make. You don't go for plays that you think you can make, but they might go wrong. Exhaust actually secures the kill onto the Dark Dud, but 4Ouch is on a killing spree, picks up another kill onto the 80 carry here. He's gonna look for the Silver Hammer here. Aqua Prison is gonna stun up IC4, but forces the flash with the Howling Gale. Good Stout Coke gonna get stunned up by that Flash Frost. He misses his Mantra Q.
Takes a lot of damage. Good Stout Coke by
Wild Hoffmeister.
Wild
And now he's starting to pull ahead in CS over this Karma. Karma is gonna suffer post 6 because his wake. Wow! Super Mega Death Rocket almost takes him out.
This is again on that new
and
push.
Ouch is gonna look for it. He does not land the cocoon. He's gonna back away as he sees Cthulhu there. He's gonna get pulled into tower range again. DATV is gonna slice and dice out. He's forced to Dominus. Actually, he didn't need to Dominus there, but a little too scared there. He's gonna go for aggression again onto Mr. Jinji.
He just needs to accept that his aggression is earning him all of this extra CS without going for the kill.
Yeah, you don't need to make risky plays. He's going under tower again for Mr. Jinji. Noxie Guillotine comes down a little early, and the tower is not going to be able to secure the kill onto him, but Mr. Jinji doesn't go down either.
Yeah, I remember I was watching I'm a Cutie Pie, his stream, and he was like, this is what this Renekton's gonna do.
DATV taking another tower shot.
He goes, this is what this... Oh my gosh, he's about to...
He just takes another one. He would have gone down if it weren't for that heal from coming out from that Call to Meek. But League of Legends, at its core, is a game about... There's actually almost no time you have to take risks in this game. You can win just by playing against your opponent in a way that you take advantage of everything, but you don't go for risky plays. And going under tower to try and get kills, that's inherently a risky play.
I guess I'm in a little bit different school of thought. I think at a pro level of play, that's like really like what they strive for. But I think you should make, you know, your mistakes. You have to learn from your mistakes. We're not professionals here. You're always going to do something that's dumb. And you should try to not do something that's too risky. But at the same time, you do need to learn your boundaries.
It's the idea of, like, you don't have to take risks in this game to win. Uh-oh, teleport coming down. Flash forward from IC4. He might go down here. Tidal Wave is going to come across. The Flame Chompers keep Mr. Diddy caught, but IC4 takes an Aqua Prison, and 4Ouch might go down here. Cthulhu picks up the kill with the help of DATV with a late teleport. He has to slice and dice out, and Shutdown goes over to Mr. Jinji. He's now 4-0. Good Stout Coke did make the roam down as well. Wild Hoffmeister having recalled at an inopportune time. So that means that Oklahoma Gold Rush is going to be able to take up this Air Dragon.
Luckily for Ubermensch, it's only an Air Dragon. You know, they buffed it. It's pretty good when you have two of them. Yep. But when you
Super Mega Death Rocket actually steals that dragon. That's actually going to be an Air Dragon over to Jubermensch.
Wow. Dang. Nice. Super Mega Death Rocket.
Yeah.
You know, that's the second time we've seen the Jinx ult come in. I figure I should just mention, they did buff how much damage it does at both point blank and max range. They buffed I think the bonus AD ratio. So it's not a huge buff in the early game, but later in the game...
4Pat doing a very good job with these rockets at the very least. He's down about 23 CS, but he's still a Jinx. He can still start to pull advantages in team fights.
Now it looks like that probably helped, you know, slow down the momentum of
yeah, definitely.
Of OGR right there. They just got some kills. They're about to take a dragon. That was pretty good for them. But you know, it's like as in a lot of sports, there's a lot of things that happen that are momentum based in games of League of Legends.
And it's very much a mentality thing as well. Yeah. You see the dragon get stolen, you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it's tilting, you know? That's
I'd like to know, I wish I had looked earlier and seen whether Cthulhu had Smite or not.
I mean, there was a big fight bot lane, and he does have the chilling smite, so I wouldn't be surprised if during that fight he used it to slow somebody to help secure a kill or something.
And DATV going for a more defensive build, building into that Sunfire, relying on those high base damages of Renekton in order to make these impacts. Good Stout Coke gonna get stunned up here by Flash Frost. He's gonna take a lot of damage from Wild Hoffmeister. Wild Hofmeister still scaling up with the Tear of the Goddess. Has not yet finished his Rod of Ages either. For him to be doing that much to bullying out this Karma is a real worrying factor for the Oklahoma Gold Rush.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing a good job of farming.
IC4 catches another Aqua Prison. DATV and 4Ouch. 4Ouch flashes forward. He does not get the cocoon off. He's going to get taken down here as he goes under tower. Good Stout Coke. Wild Hofmeister flashes forward for the Flash Cross, but he is going to go... DATV goes down to Cthulhu here, but
out of mana.
He's actually going to be able to take out Cthulhu with the help of Ignite. Mr. Gingy is here, though. He does have the Black Cleaver and boots. He flashes forward for the Apprehend. Wild Hofmeister is going to go down in the end. He gets the stun off. The wall is not enough to save him. He just walks through it, actually.
Ulted his way through that Anivia wall. He pops the ult, and when he came down, he was on the other side.
Yeah. So, a little bit of a botched tower dive. They trade 2 for 3 there. It looked like
when the Karma flashed,
what looked like happened is 4Ouch went for the Flash Cocoon, but he didn't get the E off before he pressed R to go into Spider form. Had that been otherwise, they probably would have secured the kill onto Good Stuff Coke and then been able to get out easy. The 4Ouch is here. He's gonna try and hold this tower, repels into the air just to dodge away from that Decimate. The Wild Hofmeister 2-1-1 is about a 20 CS lead over his opposite number. 4Pat down about 27 right now. And Dark Dud, he's going to take a zap in return for that headshot.
Up until that last little tower dive.
Oh, the flash exhaust here because he sees 4Ouch here. Dark Dud used his 90 caliber net, but IC4 might go down here. He gets the summoner heal. He 90 caliber nets forward. Ace in the hole means that 4Pat comes back to get the Aqua Prison, and they might not be able to get this kill. Howling Gale across the board. Silverhammer takes a cocoon, but not too much damage to follow up. So good disengage. IC4 playing very overly aggressive on this Janna, going for flash exhaust, flash Howling Gales.
I just noticed that there was a Facebook post from earlier saying, why is the stream offline? I think I've noticed that sometimes when you're watching a stream and it goes offline and comes back online, sometimes it doesn't pop up as being online. So whenever that happens,
just refresh.
Yeah, just refresh it. If it seems like we've been offline for too long, hit refresh. Maybe we'll start, throwing out something in chat when we're going back online, so that way anybody who is offline and doesn't know about that or doesn't know that we're not, we're going, but they're not seeing it, we can sort that out.
Alright, so Mr. Gingy is now 5-0 on this Darius. He's actually technically ahead in terms of gold over DATV in spite of that 30 CS deficit.
He's picked up 5 kills from the top lane and the bot lane now.
Yeah. Wild Hofmeister is still the very, very big point of power. Karma more utility based as the game goes on. Her damage definitely falls off as the game goes on.
Yeah, but I mean, it falls off, but she still does bring to the team, the AoE speed boost, the AoE shield.
Yeah, like I said, more utility based as the game goes on.
Kind of
Cthulhu
like
having been pushing out this top lane while Mr. Gingy looks for roams. Wild Hofmeister going to be handed over this blue buff. As he continues to increase his gold lead, 31 now, it's falling down as a result of Karma CSing now. But he is going to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, there was a decent period during the game where Wild Hofmeister had the most CS in the game. It was up until that tower dive where they went
a little bit
2 for 3.
All right, so Earth Dragon is spawning right now. Oklahoma Gold Rush have superior position over it. Wonder whether Jubermensch will contest it. DATV picks up that tower in the top lane while it's happening. Mr. Gingy might look for something over the wall. And they're actually going to be forced away from it. They're just pulling it out. They're kind of scared of it going down. Super Mega Death Rocket is not enough to secure it this time.
To go for repeat
Cthulhu or Silverhammer takes the cocoon. The apprehend is not going to get anybody, but Mr. Gingy taking a lot of damage. He was zoned away by that wall, and 4-Out shuts him down. He repels into the air. He's going to come down right and walk around the other side. IC4 moves forward, catches the Alchemy Prison, and he's going to go down. The cocoon lands onto the Dark Dud, and they actually pick up a lot of kills. 4Pat is excited now, throws down the flame jumpers, and Good Style Coke is going to go down. Double kill goes over to him, but Karma with that Soul Flare did pick up 4-Outs at the end. That was a 5 for 2 in a 5v4, and DATV has been pushing top lane this entire time.
Yeah, honestly, they just really made use of their AoE there. If the Jinx auto attacks were hitting multiple targets, the Anivia stun was landing on multiple targets.
And that wall was insane.
Oh,
he
on
cut
the
off,
Mr. Gingy?
He cut off the team from helping Mr. Gingy, cut off Mr. Gingy from escaping to his team, placed a great wall in a corridor of the jungle, and then those zoning cues, the zoning Glacial Storm, Wildhop Meister playing absolutely massively well for Jubermensch on this Anivia. I have a prediction that we won't be seeing that anymore for the rest of the OKLCS.
Yeah, he's had 2 really good performances on the Anivia so far.
And to bring up old history, 4Pat going very low, trying to take his own red buff. To bring up past performances, Wildhoff Meister, previously a mid laner for Team Landsnake as well, did have quite a few Anivia games as he played for them, did spectacularly well for them as well.
Mm-hmm. Does Janna get the CS from turret
If the tower
with
is the shield last hits it, she does get the CS.
Okay, things that you might not know if you watch a stream. Learning.
Alright, so Silverhammer is going to find this quick ward here, but the cocoon is not quite going to land. They are going to be able to use the Raptor buff to take out this ward in the end. 4Pat coming down here to try and catch up in CS. He is 1-1-7, playing very safe. 4-Ouch has the majority of the deaths, but also the majority of the kills on the side of Jubermensch. DATV somewhat relegated to split pushing now as he's fallen behind as Renekton, but can still have an impact in team fights if he gets a good Dominus to zone off the members of Oklahoma Gold Rush. Can still stun up the AD carry.
He built appropriately. He was not like faring pretty well.
Like, Ouch is gonna find the Dark Dud here. He's not gonna throw it on the cocoon. He takes a headshot as a result of that Yordle snap trap.
Anyway, he's building appropriately. He went for the Merc Treads into a Sunfire just to get a little bit tankier before any damage items. He's probably gonna pick up the Black Cleaver because that's honestly kind of necessary on Renekton if you're gonna do a decent amount of damage to anybody.
Uh-oh, Wildhoff Meister finds Cthulhu in the jungle. The wall keeps him from running. He gets the stun, gets the kill. Wildhoff Meister on a killing spree, defending his fellow birds, and kills out Cthulhu. And 4-Ouch repels into the air. Super Mega Rocket picks up the Dark Dud during the Piltover Peacemaker animation.
Yeah, Jinx being what I considered a pretty decent AD carry before the change, getting a small buff to the damage of the ultimate, especially when...
Alright, DATV looking for an aggressive play onto Mr. Gingy. He does not have the Black Cleaver finished yet, so not too much damage going down. But actually, he wins that trade outright. Mr. Gingy itemizing magic resist as opposed to armor.
Yeah. Mr. Gingy, since getting ahead in the laning phase, has been roaming a lot. Cthulhu being the one to go up to the top lane and push it out, and thus he's not been getting a lot of CS. And as you can see in the CS, DATV is now 60 CS ahead of Mr. Gingy.
A level ahead as well. He slice and dices forward. He does not have... He goes for the Dominus. He gets the... apprehend backwards. He just throwing down a little bit more damage, but not enough to secure any kills there. Alright, so Mr. Gingy is going to try and do something. He goes under tower once again, but it might be able to get this kill. He slices forward. He dices backwards. He's not actually able to secure that kill. Mr. Gingy gets out with a sliver of health. And DATV is going to take away this tower, but here comes... He flashes forward, but he does not get it. And there's some damage coming out from Good Style Coke. He gets another kill onto him. And DATV, just lack of execution this game.
I mean, he was very close to having the range. Just barely didn't have the range to secure that kill. But I mean, that was an example of using a potentially defensive cooldown when you're unaware of some of the members of the other team. Yeah. Because, like, getting that kill was pretty close. But he burned his flash like to get it or not get it. And then, but his flash was down, and he was kind of low on health, and Karma roamed down and was able to pick up a kill.
He already got in the tower. It's easy for him to just back away, help his team secure other things. but he went for the aggressive play. He was punished for it. Unnecessary risks there. You are already winning. You don't need to snowball any harder. Not that you are necessarily snowballing, considering you've died 4 times. So it's going to be whether Mr. Gingy can start snowballing these team fights with those resets, we'll call them, with the help of that Noxian Blood Rage. Wild Hofmeister are going to be trying to secure picks for his team. Nice cocoon onto Good Stout Coke, but no follow-up damage to come out. So now DATV, having pushed in both of those top lane towers, the lane is automatically going to be pushing as a result of those minion changes, but he's going to rejoin his team. Aqua Prison is not going to catch it. The blue buff is going to reset there. Oklahoma Gold Rush actually have position in this mid lane. They might push for this mid tower with the members of Jubermensch a little bit zoned off here. What are they gonna do? Oklahoma Gold Rush gonna look for that mid tower there.
This is kind of a situation that we saw with in the Diamond.
But Mr. Gingy misses the apprehend. He goes forward, and actually the members of Oklahoma Gold Rush zoned away by that wall. Tidal Wave comes out, and Mr. Gingy's gonna get focused down. Pat, he's gotten him now. DATV pulls down that Dominus. He's in the middle of the team. Exhaust goes down on the Silver Hammer. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across. Not a whole lot of damage because of the execute nature. IC4 is gonna flash over the wall for that Howling Gale. Double kill goes over to 4 outs. 8, 4, and 5 now. 5, 1, and 6 on Wild Hofmeister on this Anivia. Another great wall. And that was just really questionable from Oklahoma Gold Rush. They had the position. They could have gone for that tower, but they saw them. They looked to try and just disengage as opposed to going for that fight. And wall comes down, and Cthulhu takes a lot of damage.
It looked to me like the stun wasn't up right then, off cooldown, and he had to use it kind of late.
He used it onto a minion wave.
And so if he had had that stun up, that would have been the end of Cthulhu once again.
Yeah, definitely. And Oklahoma Gold Rush, they tried to have Mr. Gingy zone away the members of Jubermensch, but Jubermensch weren't having anything of it.
Yeah, Janna came right in behind the Darius and ulted, pushing Darius further into her own team and the other members of OGR away from the fight, and they were able to focus down.
The wall just made it so that they were able to easily secure Mr. Gingy. They didn't even have to have DATV tanking up the enemy team. He was just there helping out, kill off Mr. Gingy. Vorpak going to be given his red buff. And Wild Hofmeister again with some great zoning plays on this Anivia. Now DATV has the Black Cleaver. He has a Tiamat as well. He's wanting to go aggressive onto Mr. Gingy, doing a decent chunk of damage, not taking any in return.
Decimate, he used his E to get himself down into the center of it and not give Darius any of the enhanced damage or healing.
Alright, so Silver Hammer and Good Star Coke potentially caught here. It's going to get stunned up by it, but he does not have vision in that brush. DATV in the middle of 3 now. He's getting 3 autoed by the Dark Dud here. He's going to go down. Eventually, Noxian Guillotine secures that kill. IC4 catches an Aqua Prison. They both get apprehended back in. Mr. Gingy is going to secure a double with that. Wild Hofmeister flashes over the wall. And Mr. Gingy picks up 2 more kills. The Good Stout Coke is going to get cocooned. But 4-ouch, I don't know if he wanted this when he gets the rappel into the air. Mr. Gingy, 4-ouch tries to juke around. He flashes over the wall there. Mr. Gingy coming in. He's very low, though. I don't know if he really wants this. 4-ouch looking aggressive
cocoon
here.
Could be a quick turn onto his health bar.
And DATV going a little too hard into the enemy when Wild Hofmeister and IC4 were not able to follow up. Dark Dud was free hitting over the side of the wall. And it looks like Jubermensch might be looking at this Baron as their potential next play. Actually, if you look at it, Oklahoma Gold Rush have yet to take any towers on the side of Jubermensch. Jubermensch has 4. They're taking down this Baron. It's going to go down very quickly to a Jinx, to a Glacial Storm Anivia. Silver Hammer going to look for it, but it's not going to matter. 4-ouch gets the good smite. The stun onto Mr. Gingy. They go for the and play here. Cthulhu getting into the backline, but he's cocooned and exhausted. He jumps in and he's going to go down. Anivia, Wild Hofmeister picks him up. Darius did pick up Renekton off the side. Super Mega Death Rocket catches him out, and he's doing a lot of damage off to the side. He's doing, wow, the Runon's Hurricane followed up with that splash damage. The auto attack secures the kill onto the Dark Dud, and Wildhop Meister zones them away from that corridor with Glacial Storm. Excellent
Wow,
play.
that Nami triple bubble really saved the fight for OGR. That could have been a
Much worse.
quicker end of the fight for them, and Jinx wouldn't have gone down either, and then they would have had 4 members up to push with Baron buff after getting aced.
Yeah.
So that Nami really did a great job with that bubble there. Really, I mean, they still ended up losing the fight, but she really rescued them from a lot of hurt with that one ability right there.
Wildhop Meister actually doing a good job here. He almost recalled here, but he did the right thing. He canceled his recall, went to push up with the Baron buff. You need to make use of these buffs when you have them. You can't just recall after a team fight that you've won and waste time.
Yeah, we saw that in the Retribution Land Snake game. They had it. They picked up a Baron and then picked up an Elder Dragon, and then with full health, rather than do that, they decided they wanted some items or something and take some jungles, and they wasted some time. Basically, wasted out Elder Dragon. Some of their members were trying to push. Some of their members backed with the enhanced recall before anyone could tell them not to do it. And then
this seems a little specific here.
And
all right, now the positional advantage gotten by Jubermensch. Oklahoma Gold Rush sent 4 members to pick up that blue buff, and Cthulhu's just gonna go down. Mr. Gingy gonna apprehend 2 here. He's gonna get the heal coming out. Aqua Prison lands on the Wildhop Meister, but the Dark Dud uses Ace in the hole instead of auto attacking. 4-Ouch moves forward. Super Mega Deathmarket not gonna secure any kills there.
If this Diana wants to go that ham still, she really needs to pick up the Zhonya's a little bit earlier. She went for an early Lich Bane, which, as we talked about before, Lich Bane is not a bad item, but you do have to pick up some other AP
before it becomes effective.
Yeah, because its damage isn't like some of the other spell-like things based on a base AP. It's primarily based on
how much
your
ability
AP.
power you have.
Yeah, so you need to pick up, 3 at least AP items, so that way you can have a decent amount of AP, so it can...
Not three. A lot of champions go for it as their second big item, but Runic Echoes is not a big enough item to warrant getting the Lich Bane second. Especially not on Diana, who has a large AP ratios. You'd much rather just get straight AP anyways. Moreo's gonna get apprehended here, but he did not have tower aggro. DATV taking a lot of damage there. 4-Pat actually tanking out the tower.
Pretty lot of damage there.
Wildhop Meister doing a really good job zoning away the members of OK Gold Rush in this game with his abilities. You can tell he's put a lot of time into this Anivia play. Now 8-1 and 8. Using those abilities to their full extent, even when the Q does not land, he places it in such a way that the members of Oklahoma Gold Rush are forced to back away, isolate one of their members.
Using it as a sort of a pseudo wall of its own, pushing it right down the middle, and they split.
And DATV looking for a fight onto Cthulhu here. He's gonna get kited out. And decides, I want the CS anyways. And now 0-6 on the Renekton, but he's still doing a very good job in these team fights. The Ocean Drake is going to be taken away by Jubermensch.
Yeah, that's their 3rd dragon.
Yeah, 3 dragons to 1, 6 towers to 0.
Yeah, really playing the map well. I think DATV been there for a lot of the important fights, but when there's not important fights, he's pushing, like right now.
But he might be caught here. He's actually just gonna stun up Cthulhu, dice his way back out, and now it's just a clean fight. He's gonna go back in onto Cthulhu here.
He just wants
a lot of damage. Here's the Dominus. Yeah, he's just stalling 2 members of Oklahoma Gold Rush.
He's got 4 members in the bot lane pushing hard. They even send a Jinx.
Yeah, he actually goes forward. He slices forward. Cthulhu flashes away out of fear of the burst coming down. He has the Titanic Hydra finish.
Yeah, he was able to stay far enough away from Darius for him to do anything and keep Cthulhu too scared to really come in to try and...
He actually fancies his chances against Mr. Gingy. He does not take the tower damage this time.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good trade. He didn't take very
4
much
Pat going to be autoing the tower down to less than half here. Those traps zoning away the other members of Jubermensch, but
there they go, the super minions into the mid lane, and they have crazy wave clear with the Jinx and Nivea.
Yeah. And on the side of Oklahoma Gold Rush, Karma is one of the weaker mid laners in terms of CS.
Yeah, in terms of CS, I mean, Caitlyn is a champion that does have a good amount of...
Good wall. Forces the 90 caliber net away. 4-Pat going very low, actually. Takes a lot of damage from Good Style Coke taking down to less than half.
A lot of burst coming out of that Anivia.
And while this is all happening, Forpat just continuing to lifesteal his way back up as he tanks up the tower with the help of that Eye of the Storm shield. Gets some damage from safety. Cocoon lands onto Mr. Gingy, but not a whole lot following up. Ace in the hole.
OGR has 5.
There's the tidal wave. Wildlife Meister a little far forward here, but he gets the Q backwards. Forpat flashes away. Oh my god! He lands the vacuum thing into a 4-man Nami bubble. Wildlife Meister is going to go down here. That's 4 for 0 in favor of Oklahoma Gold Rush. GATV did not quite get that tower before the teleport came in from Mr. Gingy.
That
Oklahoma Gold Rush.
Really good use of the Diana there. Diana pulled everyone just a little bit closer in, you know, get that bonus range after that buff, pull everyone in a little bit, and then Nami lands a 4-man bubble.
4-man Aqua Prison coming out from Silver Hammer. Good combo from Cthulhu there. No one saw that.
That was quite impressive. I mean, it's like they talked about with it. They want Diana to be more of an initiator, but they really didn't want to. You know, they couldn't buff her damage or anything. That would just make her an even stronger assassin. When she's ahead, she's already currently a very speedy.
All right, so
sticky assassin.
First tower is finally going to go down in favor of Oklahoma Gold Rush.
But that's what they meant. That's what they meant the buff for. You know, like give her something to do when she dies outside of just dealing some damage.
Yeah,
Make that a little bit bigger and set up for some, you know, wombo, which is what they made use of there.
Really nice. And he's very ahead in terms of CS over 4outs. 4outs actually did make a very significant early game advantage for multiple lanes. Got Wildlife Meister ahead, helped Forpat a little bit. Mr. Gingy here a little bit alone there, but there's his
early
team.
In the game, honestly, OGR was doing pretty well, but mostly Mr. Gingy's Darius being a driving force behind their really strong.
The wall is going to isolate Mr. Gingy. Not a whole lot of follow-up. He is going to get the apprehend on the DATV, but that's the tank. He's going to pull down the Dominus. Mr. Gingy going very low. Noxian Guillotine was wasted. Thinking he's going to go down, the Q lands onto the Dark Dud. He actually 90 caliber nets away the wrong direction. DATV did go down to Cthulhu in the end. Flash forward for the Howling Gale. He's going to knock up Silver Hammer. He is going to go down to nothing yet, but the wall keeps him there. Wildlife Meister. Excellent play. There's a nice mantra Q to come across.
4-out came in front of the ultimate from the Caitlyn there, and then after getting hit by a mantra Q from the Karma, that was...
Oh! Close.
He's almost dying to this Karma here. Alright, well, they were able to take down an inhibitor after that last fight.
And if you look at this itemization, though, Good Stout Coke has actually been forced to itemize very suboptimally. After your mana item, you really want to get that Rabadons or that Ludens as fast as possible to maximize your shields.
Itemize to not die to a Nivea.
Yeah,
Thinking of some magic resist and then getting Zanyas to dodge some burst.
Doing so much damage. And they're going to secure an easy Baron after that mid-inhib goes down. DATV, only one to go down in that fight. Now 1-7, but doing what he has to keep his team in the lead here. Okay, so Director Camera decided to linger a little bit onto Forpat, just sort of sitting there. He did pick up that Bloodthirster to go along with the 70% crit he has. Rapid Fire, Runon's Hurricane, Infinity Edge now. And we saw the Dark Dud accidentally 90 caliber net the wrong direction during that last fight.
Something that just, you know, something that happens when you're in high pressure situations like that. There aren't very many skill shots in the game outside of Kled and Caitlyn where you need to use it one direction to move the other. Graves ultimate. Those are the only three that come to mind. Yeah. Those are the only three I can think of, but there's I mean, out of 130 plus champions at this point, like, there's not very many abilities that are gonna have an interaction like
He's probably what happened is he was trying to right click out to walk the other direction, but he didn't move his mouse fast enough to get the 90 caliber net. And actually, Elder Dragon is going to be taken basically uncontested, actually completely uncontested for Jubermensch here. DATV now with that Elder Dragon buff forces the flash away from Cthulhu. Probably could have killed him if he had used his slice and dice forward with the Cold and Meek there. And now 4 members in the bottom lane. DATV pushing in the top lane. They have Elder, they have Baron.
Yeah, no, people talk about Renekton being a champion who falls off, but DATV has been playing this late game almost pretty much better than he did the early game. He's been playing pretty well with these items under his belt now.
Yeah, he actually picks up that tower in the top lane. He's going to take away the inhib as well. Mr. Gingy here by himself to try and do it. But he has a Black Cleaver. He has a Titanic Hydra. He also has the Elder buff. He is actually probably going to... He flashes forward for it. He actually gets the kill. Noxie engaging comes across, but it's not enough damage. He actually finally triumphs over his lane opponent under the tower. Gets the inhib. Members of Juber mentioned the bottom lane do secure the inhib tower as well. DATV gonna go down to Cthulhu. No, he's not. He does get the kill, survives the ace in the hole. And there's a nice cocoon, picks up the kill onto Good Stuff Co. Nexus tower number 1 goes down. Zanya secures his escape. And that means that Jubermensch are gonna take away their second win, 2-2, put themselves 1-1 against Oklahoma Gold Rush. And Wild Hofmeister doing an absolutely massive job once again on Anivia. Let's see if we can pull up that match history for you. All right, so mouse. All right, so we do have the match history for you here. Wild Hofmeister, 37.4k damage on that Anivia, 8-2-12, doing absolutely massive work once again for Jubermensch.
Yeah, just going to show how much DATV was really doing with his split pushing and team fighting in the late game. He had the second most damage on his team out of that, which is surprising. It's actually... it really seemed to me like Jinx was doing a lot of really good team fighting, putting down a lot of damage. But so I'm surprised to see that she had the 4th lowest damage.
It's just because during laning phase she was basically playing passively, just trying to CS, try and match up in the team fights, which she did do. Very good job from 4Pat there. And we see there was a huge CS discrepancy in the jungle. Cthulhu on Diana heavily outfarming 4Ouch on Elise, but it didn't matter because of how many advantages 4Ouch got for his team in the early game. Got Wild Hofmeister ahead, started snowballing him.
Yeah, he started snowballing Wild Hofmeister, and he went and helped out his bot lane. And so while things were going south in the top lane and that one team fight in the bot lane earlier in the game, they were able to start scraping it ahead with the leads that 4Alk was helping them get.
Yeah, and then he was getting himself ahead as well. He just started snowballing these team fights to get residual gold onto his teammates, which put them even farther ahead. And of course, objective control significantly in favor of Jubermensch. They took all 11 towers on the map compared to only 1 on the side of Oklahoma Gold Rush.
Yeah, 4Alk not being in a lot of these games and him being in this one makes it's just, a jungler is a driving force behind your early game objective controls because they're usually the ones making the calls and stuff on what objectives you should go for. So he obviously had a pretty good impact on Jubermensch and being in the game today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we are going to cut the stream here. Not entirely. Just pause. Intermission. We're not cutting it off. We'll be back later on in a few minutes to just talk a little bit about the game we could not see, the Road Crew versus Venom, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.